found keeping my college work organised really useful, especially when it comes to revising and you need to find your notes quite quickly.
It helps you to reduce stress and to have your notes accessible and easy to read.
And it also means that everything's not a mess, so you know exactly where to go to find it.
So I started off the year with about 9 different A4 notebooks, and by week 2 I was already forgetting notebooks and it all didn't end up very well. So I decided to buy at that point a larger notebook, and it already had 10 different tabs in.
Last year I wrote all my notes on a refill pad so that I could tear out the pages and put them into folders for each subject.
These really help me keep my work organised, so if I didn't have them, my work could be everywhere.
You can just move your notes around and it's quite portable as well.
Psychology is blue, biology is purple and chemistry is green.
I then separate my folders into given topics so it's really easy to navigate.
They're all colour coordinated, and I have my contents page with things like revision notes and class notes.
I have a section that I'll put all my marked work in so that I can look at the targets that my teachers have set.
I also make sure that everything's dated so that I can go back to a specific date.
Organising my work in this way has more of a structure to it, so I know I won't be losing any notes because they'll all be in one place.
When it comes to revision, I know exactly where to find the notes for each specific topic and saves time in the long run.
I keep all my work in one place. I use one of these as it's really good for storage and it keeps everything in place.
My boxes contain things like flashcards and exam papers.
This year most of my notes are electronic as I'm using my iPad to write my notes. So I'm using an app called GOODNOTES which allows me to store all of my notes in ISP within folders so I can store them by subject and then by topic.
I use SCRIBZEE as well, which can help you categorise your notes and have them on your phone. So you can read them on the go whether you're travelling or whether you just want to read over them when you're on holiday.
Something that helps keep my notes organised is to get the spec up, reread my notes, and then sort all of my notes out so that they match all the points in the spec, and then rename them with the corresponding number. This is important because once you start doing serious revision, you can go through the spec, highlight all the things that you're unsure about, and then you can easily find your notes that correspond to that particular point.
It's important to spend a substantial amount of time each week organising your notes to prevent everything from accumulating into messy, disorganised piles of paper, which would make it very difficult to organise later on.
I find setting goals incredibly useful in staying motivated as I know the work I'm doing has a purpose and it gives me incentive to keep working and keep trying.
I set myself goals to keep me focused and to motivate me. And I also reward myself for completing goals, either by giving myself a 10-minute break or treating myself to something edible like chocolate.
So I set myself a goal to complete at least 2 assignments a week. This really benefited me because it makes me feel like I've made progress in that week.
I set myself study goals at the beginning of each week by writing out everything I want to achieve that week. I make sure my goals are SMART.
SMART goals stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and timely.
I try to incorporate these into my own studies by first having a goal in mind, for example learning a research study, and setting a time frame that works well for me.
The goals I set myself are topic related. Then I will add an appropriate time frame to it, such as 30 minutes. That way I can stay on track and keep up with time management.
I like to set myself goals that are realistic and good for time, because then it makes you feel a bit more accomplished when you have completed those tasks.
To keep myself motivated to achieve these goals, I tell them to a family member or a friend, which sort of forces me to keep on track and actually complete the goals that I set out to do.
I find it's important to write these goals down so that you can refer back to them and check your progress.
I would suggest writing down your goals and putting them somewhere where you will see them.
I set myself many study goals through things like my board I've got by my bed, where I have each day of the week, and I set out on a Sunday everything that I know needs to get done that week.
I set myself study goals in the form of a huge spreadsheet with all the different points from the spec. I've used a traffic light system and make sure that I get at least 3 red traffic light points done every single week.
My weekly study goals, it's really helpful as it's got the days of the week. I make sure to colour code everything just so it also looks neater. Having this up in my room definitely helps me as I can walk past it every day and I see it. But each day has a goal, as this means that I feel like I've accomplished more when I'm doing it. Even if you don't have one of these, you can just write it on a piece of paper and stick it up in your room. But I'd definitely recommend sticking it up somewhere.
believe setting a schedule is paramount to me getting anything done. A schedule will keep me accountable and create an aim to the day.
I set myself a study schedule daily on tasks or weekly via that board.
As much as I'd love to come home from college to sit and watch Netflix, I thought it would benefit me and keep me on track of my coursework if I dedicated at least an hour to do something.
I have 2 things that I use to schedule my studies. This is a to-do list book where I write in things that I need to do to complete. For example, get my geography work done before Wednesday. They're things that mean that I know what I need done for when. And then secondly, I have a weekly plan for every week of the year.
I've set myself a very loose study schedule. I made sure to get creative with it by using calligraphy because it makes me have a positive association between making my schedule and actually following it out.
I have a list and it's got a checkbox so I can see what I've done and what I need to do, and I can also tick it off once I've done it, which is also really satisfying. Next is my week. This is basically says my morning and night on each day, and I write down what I have to do, the time I have to do it by. Definitely helps me keep organised.
Personally, I like having a loose schedule because it makes me feel like I'm more in control instead of being bossed around by a rigid schedule.
If you fall behind, it may not be a good idea to compromise by getting rid of breaks or having less breaks on the next day. Instead, you could prioritise missed topics. Don't worry if you fall behind. Keep calm and remember that each day is a new day.
I make sure to block out any time slots where I know I will be busy and give myself a few hours a day to relax, spend time with my family and also talk to friends, etc. And this really helps to relieve any study-related stress and manage my time efficiently.
If you're struggling with time management, organise. Make sure everything is where it's supposed to be and where you know it will be. Prioritise. Find where the gaps in your knowledge are, either by rag rating your spec, doing online quizzes.
If you're struggling with time management, there is 4 easy things that I would definitely advise you do. Number 1 is to plan out each task that you have to do. This is so you're not doing it last minute, and you also know what you have to do beforehand. Make lists. Lists are really helpful when you're trying to do jobs, as you can tick them off and you can also see what you have to do and what you haven't done. Set alarms, as this means that you're reminded and you don't forget about it. And lastly, that comes to my next one, don't leave anything to the last minute. It really doesn't help, stresses you out.
If you struggle with time management, I think you're definitely not alone there. I think most people do. If you're one of those people, then I can't recommend enough going online and just printing off a timetable to help plan your studies.
I would do it colour coordinated. For example, I'd put red when they're not free, so this is college hours and in the evenings if they have hobbies, and then I would put green for potential times that they could spend it doing coursework.
And then we would maybe revise that so that they get an equal amount each day, so that they're maximising their potential. If they're not in college 1 day a week, maybe they can do more hours on that day than if they had a full day of college the day before. But otherwise it's good to spread it all out.
There's also a technique that you can do where you write or study for 25 minutes. You will work continuously for 25 minutes and then you stop and then you can have a break and then you can start your 25 minutes again.
It may also be good to alternate between different task types, so tasks that you're standing for and tasks that you're sitting for. And this allows you to not stay in the same position all day.
I would advise them to look at their distractions. For instance, I can find myself very easily going into the YouTube rabbit hole, which eats up quite a lot of my time. So in order to stop myself from doing that, I disable the Wi-Fi for an hour so I can focus on my work and then have that playtime later.
It's also beneficial to set boundaries, so this could be letting others in your home know about certain hours during the day in which you don't want to be disturbed, and trying to keep distraction to a minimum.
Your day shouldn't be completely doing your work. You need to have that work-life balance where you can have fun or you can relax as well. Because if you're constantly doing work, you're going to lose interest, and that's only going to hinder you in the long run.
In the next videos, we'll be sharing our top tips for successful studying, including
concentration, memory and learning styles,
research skills and critical analysis,
revision techniques,
and completing assessments.
So please make sure to like, subscribe and press the bell.
Like, subscribe and press the bell button.
Like, subscribe and press the bell.
like, subscribe, press the bell.
Like, subscribe and press the bell.
like, subscribe and press the bell.
Like, subscribe and press the bell to know when the next video goes live.